Hello, Kriksis here, and welcome everyone to this cozy corner. This video is being sponsored by Flexispot, and before I mention them a little bit more, grab yourself a cup of tea or coffee or any heartwarming drink. Like this video to support the channel, and also I hope you will enjoy looking through my ever-changing art studio by the Cornish Fields. I decided to do updated version in case if you're wondering how it's looking right now. I have approximately 6 to 7 square feet space for my work and art making. I think let's start with this corner. So next to the window and next to the table, I have all my to-go art supplies, something I could just quickly grab and create art. I have rulers super close by because I like to measure things and I just love to have them super close by. The same goes with the scissors, knife. I also have bookbinding bones inside this basket. And next to it, there is like smaller acrylic. I think it's meant to be for cosmetics. I have some notepads, I have some pipettes for reactivating watercolor paints, I have some paper clips, pencil sharpeners. Inside this tiny box I keep the pencil sharpenings. I do have some mechanical pencils, that's my go-to graphite pencil, but I do have regular as well. And I decided to have a space where I can store smaller pencils, because if you put them in like a mug or any kind of holder, usually the small ones, they're barely visible. Therefore, I don't reach for them all the time. Because I designed this specific place where I can quickly reach the smaller pencils, I noticed that I started using them much more. So here's the little tip. And next to this acrylic stand, there is another acrylic stand. And there I keep all of my cream, sage green, mid green, olive green, and dark green pencils. Green is my favorite color, and I just wanted to have them all in one place, and I felt like this would be perfect. I also keep their smaller pencils on one side. I also have paper clips, different kind of paper clips, variety of them. I got this golden one while I was on my recent trip in Latvia in one of the stationery stores, and I just really like how it looks. I also have paper tape super close by because I like to tape the watercolor paper before I start painting. And then there is some other pencils, other colored pencils which I use a lot, and they are in this beautiful William Morris mug, which actually broke when I was working as a barista in Cambridge. And I dropped it, but even though I cannot drink from it, you can still store things inside. And there are two little baskets. One of the basket is filled with erasers. I really wanted to have like some basket which I can just move around all the time, so I can just keep it on my desk whenever I sketch. And if I don't need it, I can just put it back up. And in the next basket, I have Neocolor 2s. These are the crayons which you can activate with water. I usually just use them as they are, but recently I started experimenting with them a little bit more. And these are just cut in half, and I have other half in place where I will show you a little bit later. You can also see Natasha Newton beautiful painting. She sent it to me and I just absolutely love this artwork. I also have Julia's original artwork, and I will link her store down below. And this little mirror, which you can see, is from my great grandmother and grandfather, and I just wanted to keep it as a memory, and I really like how it looks. It's kind of like old style, and that is like the running theme. I like to collect some of the things with the story. And in this corner there is a wooden manicure, wooden person which you can draw to. I don't know, maybe I should name him. Let me know. And then there is like little pocket watch. It's from my great grandfather, and I just love how it looks. And I actually want to see if I can repair it and if it could be actually workable. Then there is Postcard of the Sea and Little Mermaid by Elizabeth Harbour, illustrator. I love her work a lot. And at the top you can see different kind of brushes which are hanging on a wall. So there is Val, which you can see whenever I do voice intros with a face. And on this wall, I keep a lot of watercolor swatches because I love to see how the colors look before I work. I also have some botanical posts. I have fairy lights, which just gives this cozy atmosphere all the time when I light them. They are from Latvia, and I think the company was called Cherry Picks. And if you look lower, there are a lot of brushes, and the longer ones are, some of them are really old, 10 years or so. And these long ones I have used when I was painting with acrylics and oil paints. And then there are some smaller ones. Yeah, there is spoon as well. I don't know. I love collecting spoons, interesting spoons. I know it's kind of, and then I have some other colored pencils in these baskets and fine liners, pens, and just little tidbits. And in this William Morris mug, I have all the gray pencils I have, and I have this beautiful candle which I bought from Asda, and it just smells beautifully. And there is like also this little wood figure. I got it for free in a craft fair in Cornwall, and I have this little marker stand which I made a year ago, and I keep there other halves of the neo colors, acrylic markers, different kind of brands, and also Stabilo woody pencils. And then I have this IKEA drawer box, and I colored it in sage green color because that is one of my favorite colors. I keep there all the tech things like SD cards, hard drives, all the different cables, tripods, everything connected with filming really. And there's little bit also tidbits from stationery things which I don't really know where to put them elsewhere. And on top of it, there is knitted owl, which I knitted last November, and I just really enjoyed the project, and I'm so happy how it turned out. And the name of the owl is called Luna. There is also Tiana's beautiful artwork with a girl hugging a moon and foxes running by. And I felt like this whole corner should be moon themed. So there's like moon print at the behind. There is a beautiful artwork by Dina, and there is another Elizabeth wooden figurine. There is also a print of Blackbird and a girl, which is my own artwork. Before I will mention a little bit more from the studio, let's talk a little bit more about the sponsor of this video. Flexispot got in touch with me over a month ago, and I thought it would be a perfect collaboration. I spend most of my days in the studio, either working on art making, doing admin, or editing videos like this. So having a good chair and desk is really essential. And I'm an artist in late 20s, and I have to admit that I have experienced back pain 3 times during the last 2 years. It lasted me over a week or so every single time. I suspect it's due not to stretching enough and also wrong posture and tenseness just overall in my body. And therefore, I have been thinking about getting standing desk for a while now. So when this opportunity came, I just thought, yes, I'm gonna agree because this is something I really wanted to do myself as well. I got sent E7 Flexispot desk and I decided to choose a white color frame with black walnut top. I always wanted to have mid to dark brown furniture, and I thought this is like the perfect opportunity for me to slowly get darker type of furnitures in my studio. And I chose 1 meter 40 centimeters by 80 centimeters size for the desktop. The installation process was super easy to understand. And with my husband's help, it took us approximately 1 hour or maybe a little bit more. And I have Flexispot E7 desk in my studio more than a week now, and I have been enjoying it both standing and sitting. I think I put it up several times a day to just have variety in my schedule. And it also has USB port, and I use it to charge my phone on the panel. You can also manually set the desired height or set it up your preferred sitting or standing mode, which I found really convenient. You just press the button and it just remembered your setup height. And I also want to mention that there is Flexispot Brand Day sale happening right now on Flexispot website. I will link it down below, and you can get up to 50% discounts from different products in their website. And also for residents in the United Kingdom and Ireland, on May 13th at 10 a.m. and on May 17th, 10 a.m. 2024. If you are one of the first 40 orders, you can get free order. I will link the information down below. Thank you again, Flexispot, for sponsoring this video. And now let's talk a little bit more about the studio tour. For there is also this beautiful wooden furniture, and I just love how it looks. And there is this beautiful houseplant which I didn't manage to kill, which is amazing because I used to kill a lot of houseplants. And this has been with me for I think 1.5 years or maybe even longer than that. And it's called Eustace. And it's Parlor Palm. And I also have beautiful acorn mug as a gift from Natasha. I also have candle for wax melting and super old style of manual pencil sharpener. I think this is like my apothecary magical shelf. And I have stamps on the left side. I also have some wax melts, some figurines. I have this beautiful fox from Ceramic Corn. Then I have like these tiny little matches which I got as a gift from house owner, and I think when I got them I realized maybe I should collect them more because I really like how they look visually. I also have some essential oils. I have 2 more spoons which I collected. One is from Saldomi, Spanish illustrator and ceramicist, and the other one is from my mom, and this is like wooden one. I think she got it from a trip from abroad. If you go to the lower shelf, I have 2 shelves and they are connected with inks. I have this wooden beautiful box from my mom. and inside I keep fountain pennings, and I try to keep fountain pennings in like area where the light doesn't affect them because they are not light fast. Therefore, I thought I better store them in more secure place. And on top, I have this beautiful metal box. This was my great grandmother's. It used to store hot chocolate, and at the back you can read the recipe how to make hot chocolate like in the old days. And I just really like how it looked, so I got it from my recent trip to Latvia. And on the other side, I have more fountain pennings. Most of them are in the boxes, so they are not affected by the sun. And I also have some fountain pennings which I'm currently using and which are inked up, and I keep them there, as well as the Tom Studio Lumos pen, which I keep it in this box. I have this brown glass jar where I keep more fountain pen inks, but they are not inked up. And I also have glass dip pen and 2 other calligraphy pens over there. And in this small, tiny ceramic trinket, I keep calligraphy nibs. Let's talk about ceramic palettes. I have a lot of them, and I'm not the best at cleaning them. I usually clean my watercolor palettes or ceramic palettes whenever I start working on new artwork, and if I finish artwork, I just store them there, so they're not the cleanest ones. And next to this shelf, I have AC ceramic pans and with their watercolors in it. And I also keep their brush rests, and there is like this little dog which I made 3 or is it 4 years ago now? I think it is. And I also have this metal black box where I keep all the dot cards, and whenever I feel like it, I just bring them up and just sketch with the dot cards instead of using watercolor pans. And next to it, I have this white box with beautiful bird, and it actually rotates, but because it's stored inside this dark furniture, it doesn't move there. And I stored there all my acrylic gouache, and I wish to pick it up again, but because I'm working on this board book, I use a lot of watercolors in this moment in my life, but I wish to pick this basket a little bit more often in the future. On the lower shelf, I keep all my watercolor and gouache palettes. I have my main watercolor palette, empty tin, which was my great-grandfather's, and he used to store there, I think, cigarettes, but I looked at this box and I thought, maybe I could store their watercolors instead. And I also have this traditional gouache palette over here. I have my sketchbook palette. I have AC wooden palette with different blue colors. I have this unfinished factory brand watercolor palette, which is in the process of making. And I also have this deep light tin with all the deep light colors. And I got it super recently, and I will film specific video in the next month. And also I will film one video for Patreons for this month. So if you want to see how I swatch all the colors from deep light, go check out my Patreon. On the left side, there are 2 jars where I store water, and whenever I paint, I use these ones. One, I think, is from a dessert, and another one is from Ruth Pike Ceramics, and I will link her store down below as well. I think I got this from Etsy. And I also have this beautiful glass storage box, and I keep there all my Wallis and Seymour tube paints. I also have this Choosing Keeping 1930s set box, which I store all the other handmade watercolors I have in my collection. And in this beautiful metal box, I keep all the traditional gouache I also have this choosing keeping pearl set, and then I have this metal Derwent box where I store all my factory brands of watercolors. And I have this circular palette which is from Etcher. If we move on to the next shelf, there is bookcase, and at the top of it I keep all my packaging materials. I have this box where whenever I got orders from somewhere, if they use like tissue paper or wrappings, I usually keep them and store them there. And I also keep there all the frames from the exhibitions I have participated in. And also I have these do not bend envelopes. In the next shelf, I keep all the traveler's notebook inserts. And I also have a lot of craft paper sheets and just loose papers in general. And in the middle section, I have sketchbooks. I have empty sketchbooks, which I am still about to fill. They are not started even. And there is also this box, which is from Tom's Studio, and I keep there all my calligraphy things like paper, notebook, and just training sheets. I also have some papers in blocks and in pads. If you look lower in the next shelf, there is tiny section for my jewelry, for my earrings, necklaces, and some brooches. And on the right side, there is this beautiful vintage olive metal drawer set. And on top of it, I keep a book where I have all my swatches done in the past. I also have cutting board and some loose sheets of different kind of papers. And inside these drawers, the first is where I keep all my watercolor papers. Well, not all of them, some of them. I have Arches watercolor blocks, both hot press and cold press. And in the next drawer, I keep all the work which I'm doing for the bird book. There is watercolor originals. There's some prep pages, some envelopes from the supplier. There is like this paper which I started sketching on the newest artwork. If you look at the lower drawer, there is original art which I'm not selling yet on my website. And then the next drawer is originals which I am currently selling on my website. So it's just easier for me to access whenever someone buys original from my store. If you look at the lower shelf, there are a lot of sketchbooks I am currently using, and also all the notebooks I'm currently using. I'm keeping them in one place, so it's just really easy to access and just browse through. I also have two boxes. One box holds all the greeting cards and postcards I have, also some Patreon artwork prints. And because I don't have space in the other place, there is also yarn, just super randomly in this corner as well. There is more yarn on the other side of the studio. And if you look at the lower shelf, there is a plastic box where I keep all my screen printed products. Left corner, I have a little bit of tech things like tripod, camera bags, just camera box, and just in general, I store there some technical things. And if we look at the lower shelf, there is another box where I keep all my Calmtober zines, and there are a lot of them. So I still haven't sold them out. So yeah, I'm hoping that I will slowly sell them out, so I will have more space. I also have some pencil cases there. I have a big colored pencil case where I keep all the pencils I am not using and which are not next to my desk. And on this green metal box, I keep all my oil paints. Then there is another shelf which is next to it, and I keep more packaging materials. I have some envelopes, some cardboards. I have some twine to wrap sometimes the parcels. And if you look at the lower shelves, I have some empty paper to press greetings cards in the future. I also have some prints which I have already packed and which are ready to go if someone buys them. And in the lower shelf, I keep all of my stickers I have, and there are a lot of different ones. I think I have around 25 to 30 different designs. I have like this smaller box to keep the stickers as well. I also have some washi tapes left and some sticker sheets, which I keep there as well. I also have scanner, and the scanner I'm using is Canson Light 210, and I have cable next to it. I also have super old vacuum graphic tablet. I have tissue paper next to it, and in the lower shelf I have some plastic boxes where I keep more screen printed products for my Etsy store and website. I have some plastic sheets which I use to put prints in. I also have some greetings cards over there. I also have some stationery there, some stamps and punch needle, stapler, and etc. In the lower shelf, more plastic boxes with screen printed products. I have my transparent tape stand, and I also have some washi tapes over there and have some stickers. And in the lowest shelf, I have guillotine, and it's perfect to cut the paper. More screen printed products, and there is also furniture paint and fixative. And then on the other side of the room, I have a bookshelf. At the top, there is my husband's books. And then on the right side, there are fiction books I have. If you look at the lower shelf, there are some children's picture books, graphic novels, some books that I have illustrated. And there is this beautiful binocular for bird watching, which I keep it over there as well. And on the right side, there are some books which are biographies about different artists or like catalogs of different artists' work. In the lower shelf, I have books about nature, birds, trees, and there is also a sewing machine because I sometimes sew my clothes. And in the lower shelf, you can see some books about knitting, some books about sewing. I have these old vintage patterns, and on the right side, I have some self-help books / how to find your art style, books about illustration, lettering. I also have this flower press over there and another sage drawer set from IKEA, and I keep there just tiny bits of everything that doesn't fit anywhere else. On the lower shelf, there are just a lot of yarn I have because this is my hobby in the evenings. I knit a lot. And I also have some fabrics which I use for sewing clothes. And I keep there Arches watercolor paper block because there is no other place where I can keep it safely. So it's just tucked in there. And this is the hot press block. But I usually use the paper knife and cut the specific size from it rather than use it as big it is. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. If you want to let me know you stayed till the very end of the video, write in the comments below something you cannot live without in your own studio space. I'm really curious. And thank you again, Flexispot, for sponsoring this video. If you want to check it out, I will link all the links down below. Also, thank you to my Patreons. If you want to support me over there, go check it out as well. I have a website as well with shop. And yeah, until next time, have a good day, evening, morning, wherever you are. And I will see you next time. Bye.